This weekend marks the unofficial start to summer with Memorial Day. A lot of people are going to hit the beach, including myself. So we're talking about the best protection from the sun and how to avoid wrinkles. Joining us with some insight is Dr. Sabrina Fabi. Dr. Fabi, always great to have you.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
All right, so we talk a lot about the sun on this show. So I want to revisit the basics, the UVA, UVB, what's the difference, and what do we need to know about each of them?
So UVB is usually the UV radiation that comes on when the sun is at its strongest, between 10 and 2 p.m. And that's responsible for penetrating a little more superficially, so some of your more superficial skin cancers. UVA, believe it or not, is the ray that is penetrating all the time, even on a cloudy day. It's the ray that essentially penetrates even when you're in your car, because I always tell my patients that 50% of your UVA radiation is actually when you're in the shade. And that's more dangerous because that one penetrates deeper, so it's responsible for some of the more serious and aggressive skin cancers, as well as for the wrinkles that I treat every single day.
Right, which we're going to talk about those wrinkles in a moment, but you hit on the car thing, which I think is interesting because there was a recent study that found the difference in the amount of sun exposure that you're getting while driving from your windshield as well as from the side, like the side window, is pretty significant.
Right, so there are certain mandates by the Federal Motor Safety Vehicle Administration that basically has windshields, your front windshield is usually protecting you between 94 to 96% of the UVA rays are filtered, and that's mainly because it has protection against, having shattering going on so that you're safe, right? But the side windows are not necessarily as safe. So in one study where they evaluated over 29 makes and models of cars, over 50 manufacturers, what they found was that the protection from UVA, that UVA was able to penetrate anywhere between 44 to up to 96% of the time. And so we don't see that mandate on side windows, and that's the reason why we see so many people with more damage on the left side of their face than on the right side of their face.
That's so interesting. So in your business, you mentioned you see a lot of people who come in wanting to minimize wrinkles. I know when we were in the commercial break, you go, Jen, you need some Botox. I mean, I have my wrinkles here. I feel like my wrinkles tell a story, and I'm okay with that. But besides Botox, which is in your field, what are some other tips you have for reducing wrinkles on your hands and your face? I mean, are we talking like wearing sunscreen on your face while you drive or your hands?
Yeah, so a common thing that my patients tell me is that, well, I work all day, so I don't have to put on my sunblock because I'm indoors all day. But what we have to remind our patients is that they're usually in a car for about 45 minutes a day, at least if it's going to and from work. And makeup, at least the mineral-based SPF in our makeup, is not enough. So yes, putting on sunblock every single day, a mineral-based sunblock, is important. And then reapplying it when you leave for lunch or when you leave to go back home, because even if it's 5 or 6 p.m., you're still getting UV damage on your way back home. And so that's one part of it. Another part is actually protecting your skin. So for the hands that you mentioned, wearing gloves. Now, white cotton gloves actually only protect it's only really protecting 5% of the time. So because the blend of cotton is so thin, and so in an ideal world, you'd be wearing leather gloves, but it's a little hard to do that here in San Diego. So you can do lasers and light procedures in order to kind of protect you and stimulate some collagen turnover and also protect that skin. And that's another way of kind of reducing the symptom of the sun damage that you have.
Not to mention the sunglasses too, right? To protect your eyes?
Right, because it's not just the skin that's aging, it's also the eye. And so what they found in one of the studies was that there was increase in cataract formation because that UVA is penetrating through that lens of your eye. And in addition to that, you can actually get growths on the white of your eye that sometimes cross over and actually start covering your iris, or the part of the eye that gives you your color.
Yeah.
And so it's important to protect that as well. And that's with UVA and UVB lenses. Not just because they're dark or black lenses do they necessarily protect you from UV light.
Always good insight, Dr. Fabi. Thank you for being here. I'm going to skip the Botox for now, but I'll wear the gloves instead.
I think it's doing me some good, so I'm just saying.
You look fabulous. Thank you, Dr. Fabi.
Have a great one.